What do you think about Trump saying he wants to be a dictator day one?
For a minute, yes.
Yeah.
For a minute, yes.
You okay with that?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
For a minute.
For a minute?
For a minute.
What do you want to see him do when he's a dictator day one?
The same charges they put on Biden should be put on him.
What do you think about Trump saying that he should have absolute immunity from anything that he does during his presidency?
You know, I would have to think there's a reason why he's extra absolute immunity, because from his perspective, there's things that most people don't realize.
Yeah.
So I would think he's right.
Would you apply the same standard to Joe Biden, that Joe Biden should have immunity during his presidency?
Joe Biden should have immunity too, but if he's actually doing criminal acts and he's letting his son get away with it, no.
No?
I don't know any criminal acts that Trump is actually doing.
Yeah, well, he's been... Oh.
Well, it's true, ain't it?
Oh, yeah, but he's been charged. He's been charged with over... what's the cat's name?
That's Missy.
Missy?
From Florida.
So there's a phone call of Trump. Have you heard the phone call where Trump calls Brad Raffensperger and he says, "I need you to find me 11,000 votes"?
I did hear that.
What did you think about that?
I did hear that because I really feel that the votes were probably there and they finagled the votes.
So you think Trump was okay with what he was doing? That was okay?
Absolutely. He knew he was being recorded.
Interesting. So if it came out, like in an alternate reality, if there was zero election fraud and we find out that Trump knew there was no election fraud and he still made that phone call, would that be bad?
No, because there was a lot of election fraud. Mm-hmm. From my understanding, there's a lot of election fraud. I've been throughout the country, been to hundreds of rallies throughout America, even with Bernie. You know, I went to Trump rallies when I was a Bernie supporter.
Yeah.
I seen hundreds of thousands of people come out. I was offered money and told that, can you go to the auditorium for Hillary? We'll give you $50. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. Most of the public doesn't realize that she was paying people to come to her rallies.
But the thing with Trump is he was making claims of widespread, unprecedented voter fraud that's never been seen before in the United States. And people around him told him that that wasn't true. So like Mike Pence said that it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Bill Barr said it didn't happen. He hired a team of investigators to investigate election fraud. And when they said that there was no fraud, he fired them. And he kept pushing the lie. So it feels like almost like there was no election fraud and Donald Trump still made that phone call and was trying to pressure Raffensperger, right?
Absolutely, man. He does pressure a lot of people, and the truth will come out.
Yeah.
He's been right about everything.
Yeah.
Everything they claim that he did wrong, he's right about. Mm-hmm. So I feel he's 100% right about this election fraud.
So let me ask you guys, what issues are most important to you heading into the 2024 election?
I think for me, the biggest issue that I care about is the economy.
Yep.
Just looking, young professional, looking to build myself up. I want to make sure that the economy is heading in the right direction, stock market, everything along those lines.
How old are you?
25.
Oh, nice. So you're a little bit older than me. How about you? What's your biggest issue?
I'm financially embarrassed and cannot afford rent, so I would like that to go down. Groceries, it's $100 for 2 bags. I can't wear this unless I'm at a Trump rally or else I get called words. So I just like not to be discriminated against mostly, but we'll figure that out in the long run, I guess.
Yeah. Are you in the stock markets right now?
I am.
They have been hitting all-time highs though lately, right?
I mean, election season, you're going to see a jump, but the trend over the past 4 years has not been where I'd want it to be.
I want to ask you guys, have you heard the phone call of Trump and Brad Raffensperger in Georgia, the Secretary of State?
Can't say I've heard it.
No.
So basically what he's saying in the phone call, it's 2 days before January 6th, and he calls Brad Raffensperger and he says, I need you to find 11,780 votes. That's one more vote than we have. I need you to find those votes. We found out that he called multiple governors and Secretary of States trying to pressure them into finding these votes. They all said no. These are Republicans, and they said no, there's not enough evidence of election fraud. So 2 or 3 days later, Trump holds a rally a few miles away from the Capitol. Everybody walks over to the Capitol. They chant, "Hang Mike Pence," while he's certifying the results of the election. So can you see the argument that Trump may have tried to subvert the will of the American people?
I'm good on that one.
I haven't heard the call, so I don't want to speak on it.
If the call exists, would that be bad?
Never want election fraud. Everybody gets their own vote.
Absolutely.
But haven't heard the call, so can't speak too much on that.
If it's real, though.
I don't think it'd be good for anybody, honestly.
Right?
So, yeah.
Well, this is part of an hour-long phone call, basically, and this is just a small snippet.
Yeah.
All I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
So there's a small clip, and
We won the state, and flipping the state is a great testament to our country. 'Cause
So this is basically, that's just a small clip, which might not be too incriminating, but that's part of an hour-long phone call with Brad Raffensperger, who's the Secretary of State of Georgia, and the Governor of Georgia. And basically, they keep telling him, Mr. Trump, there's no evidence of election fraud. We cannot overturn these results for you. And he keeps saying, I just need you to find these votes. So can you see where I'm coming from when I think that's a little bit scary?
I don't know.
I think it's politics. I don't think it's right, but everybody. I think my vote counts as one. Your vote counts as one. Your vote counts as one, and
Absolutely.
just it's the nature of politics, and it's going to happen. So I just think whoever wins should win.
We are pressuring World War III.
How so?
Because Putin made it very clear, and I want to be clear, I'm not sympathizing for the Russian state.
Of course.
It's fascist, undemocratic, all the things, right, that we don't like here in America. But it takes two. And 20 years ago, Putin said, don't go into Ukraine. In the West, and under, unfortunately, the Joe Biden administration, they started poking and prodding, and he crossed their red line. And as disgusting as it is that Vladimir Putin launched a World War II style invasion on a sovereign nation, unfortunately, America's blood on their hands too. When you elect senile leaders like Joe Biden, this is what happens. It's very simple.
So, well, you said it yourself. Ukraine is a sovereign nation. When you want to join NATO, it's a whole process where the country has to be in a certain state. Or they have to agree. NATO has to agree. It's a whole like multifaceted process, right? So NATO expansion, I don't think, in my opinion, cannot be blamed for Vladimir Putin's imperial ambitions. He's shown repeated imperial ambitions multiple times by invading Georgia and by invading Crimea in 2014.
Yeah.
And there's also already NATO countries on his border in the form of the Balkans. So I'm not sure if I buy this idea that Vladimir Putin invaded just because of NATO aggression.
Oh, it's not just because of that, but he didn't just do it. He saw weak leadership. We have a senile president in the United States. Let's be honest, NATO is a pretend organization that would be, frankly, nothing without the United States, men, women in uniform serving over there, and without our money. So we're leading the charge over there. It takes two. And, Putin's a smart guy, really, really bad guy. And unfortunately, when you have a president with dementia or something like that, he can't play chess with him. So I'm not a policy wonk, but to me, it's very black and white. We shouldn't have let it get to this point, and we have to follow the America First policy that Donald Trump laid out, where there were no wars. It's very simple.
Can I lay out my point of view?
Sure.
So do you think we're sending cash to Ukraine, or do you think we're sending old military equipment? What do you think it predominantly is, what we're sending?
I don't know, the logistics of it, but we've sent them tons of capital, and we've sent them tons of resources.
So what we've done is we've sent them resources, old, outdated, stockpiled military equipment from the 90s that we can now restock, create new American jobs by manufacturing them. What we've done is we've sent them all this old military equipment. They've been able to use this to fight.
This old military equipment could have cost $150 billion from the U.S. taxpayer. It's expensive military equipment, whether it's new or old.
We were about to throw it away. We were about to throw it away anyways, and now it's creating new jobs as we manufacture it.
I think I don't know where you read that on Reddit, but I don't know how true that is.
I just want to butt in really quickly to correct this sassy man. I did not get this off of a Reddit thread. I got this from the former commanding general of the United States Army in Europe, Ben Hodges, who spent 38 years in the military and who in an interview said that the only thing we're lacking is the political will. We have the old expired military equipment. That's what we've been sending, and we have a lot more that would be destroyed domestically if we don't send it to Europe. He literally says in this interview verbatim that this equipment will be destroyed in the US, and that is why we're sending it over.
The only thing that stops us from providing these weapons, these capabilities, is our political will. The excuses about the expiration date of ATACMS, that's exactly what they are, excuses. If some of these weapons are at or past their expiration date, there's a good chance that most of them still can be used. Let's give those to Ukrainian armed forces who have shown themselves to be very, very innovative and skillful at integrating any capability they receive into an effective weapon. Let's do that instead of destroying these things at home.
I don't hate Russia. They're a sovereign state. There's people that love their country, but have come here because of what's going on. They're a Christian state. So despite our mass differences, I don't hate anyone. We're all God's children.
What do you think about Nikki Haley? Speaking of the New Hampshire primaries, they're coming up next Tuesday. What do you think about her?
Nikki Haley is I want to be nice. She is Dick Cheney in a dress, and that's the nicest way I can put it.
Vivek's words, right?
Vivek's words, I think it originally actually kind of came from Roger Stone when she said Nikki Haley's George Bush in 6-inch heels. So I think it took off from the infamous Roger Stone, and everyone's kind of put their thing on it. But it's true. It's a great analogy, great visual.
My name is Adam Mockler. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to turn on post notifications so you do not miss an upload, and leave a comment telling me which interaction you enjoyed the most. And as always, have a great day.